Hi guys, this is Kelly, Froggie251 on YouTube, and today I am here with In Your Pocket Tuesday, and what I just showed you was a couple of the inspiration pieces that I used for my Project Life pages today. And these are some Peerless watercolors that I got, and I just put them in this palette form, and I'm taking this card that I got from an old Studio Calico kit, and it's a watercolor paper, and I'm adding a little bit of water, and then I'm going to take the different colors of the paint, the Peerless watercolors, and then add them on. And the first letter or the first word that I do this on is the word this, as you can see, and it doesn't turn out quite as good as I would like it. And as I played, the next letters as I did them, they got a little bit better. So sometimes it takes a little practice to get these things to work, and unfortunately I only had this one card, so I just made do, and I'll show you in a little bit kind of what I did to remedy some of the bleeding that went on the card. But like I said, as I went through the card, it did get a little bit better because I kind of figured out what I was doing wrong and what I could do better. And so I'm just going to show you guys coloring this particular word. And then by the magic of TV, you will see me fast forward and the card will be done. But I basically use the same technique on this word and the rest of the words, where I just put the one color in the bottom and the one color in the top, and then I kind of use the water to kind of get them to blend together. I want kind of mixing between the two colors. And some are working a little better than others, but in the end I kind of got it to work the way I wanted to once I just got a chance to play a little bit. So this one's just about done. I'm going to try to blend the colors just a little bit more so that there's not such a difference between the two. And I'm going to blot it up to dry it, and then I'm going to use my heat gun to dry it even more. But this is how I'm going to remedy some of those colors. Oh, actually, I'm going to heat it first, dry it first, because that will work better. So I'm just using my heat gun, drying that up a bit. And the color does get a lot lighter once it dries, so just keep that in mind when you're using the watercolors. And so I'm going to use this little white gel pen, and then that's going to cover up a lot of my little blemishes. So you can see there it's kind of erasing everything, and you just don't see it as bad. Now if you look at it real close, you can still see it, but from this distance in the camera, it actually looks pretty good. And I went over it a couple times after it dried. And then here is my end result, and I did that in a couple different places. Some of the other letters bled as well, but I made it work. And I think it overall looks pretty good. And I'm using my Wink of Stella glitter pen here just to add some glitter, because why not have some extra glitter? I love this glitter pen. It's a clear glitter pen and just puts a really fine glitter, and I really like that a lot. So that's going to top it off for this card for right now. I am going to come back to it and add a little bit more, and you'll see that in just a little bit. So now I'm going to move on to my week card, and I'm going to be using this Amy Tangerine. I guess it's a stencil, and it's a stitching stencil, so you just use that, poke holes through it using that little pink mat in the back, and then you sew it up with the thread. And I just also want to say something while I was doing this little technique, and what I've been trying to do is really keep my project life simple these days. I am just a little bit behind on my project life, and I'm trying to catch up, and I think that's the nice thing about project life, is you can do just a little bit here and there to embellish, but then keep it still simple enough that you can get your pages done well, and then that helps you keep somewhat caught up, and you don't feel like you're so far behind. So there could be some weeks where I do a lot of embellishing and playing, and then there's other weeks where I do a lot less, and that's going to keep me from feeling like I'm too far behind, or at least feel like I can still keep up and not be like 8 months behind like I have been in the past. So I've been trying to use that a lot more this year, and I think I've been doing a pretty good job about keeping up. So here's just the thread. I stuck it down so it would stay in one spot with the washi tape on the back, and then I'm going to sew it up, and I'm just going to show you this one letter, and then it's going to be done. So I finished that all off just using a back stitch, and then I am going to draw a box around the word love, and I'm going to do 2 boxes, one kind of not as messy, another one just a little bit more messy on top, and then I'm going to add my week 27 stickers. And I'm going to try these Amy Tangerine stickers, and I just don't like how they look. They're a little too big, and I don't really like how they look on top of this blue. It just wasn't quite working for me, so I'm going to switch it up. After that, I'm going to try these little yellow colored stickers, and that's just not going to work either. I believe I don't have any numbers, or the numbers I need on this one. So I'm going to go over to this Here and Now sticker sheet. And I'm going to use these little yellow tile stickers and just write WK and then the number 27 for week 27. So like I said, trying to keep it pretty simple this week. I've done everything from mixed media layouts to these real simple ones to pretty much just the cards and the journaling like the traditional Project Life was meant to be. So that's really nice that you have that opportunity to do all of that. So now I'm moving on to this card, and I took this wood grain card from my stash from a Studio Calico kit, and I just added this little punched flower that I used. I put washi tape on some white paper and then punched the flower out, and I've had those in my stash for quite some time, so I just use them up as I find that they work. And that wood grain did come from the inspiration piece. There is a house that has the different colors on it. It's kind of a rickety, kind of wooden barn looking siding on it, and I thought that wood card would go well with that inspiration piece. And then the rest of the layout I did mostly just kind of the same color tones as the inspiration, those jewel colors. And so now I'm just journaling on one of these cards, and if you've seen my videos before, I do a lot of the Capture app. And then that Capture app makes the pictures look like Polaroids, and it adds journaling to the bottom of the card. So I use that on a lot of my layouts, and then that way I don't have to remember my journaling, especially if I'm not quite caught up. That gives me an opportunity to just keep my journaling on those, and then I'll add just extra journaling if I didn't get all the story or I didn't get a picture for that particular story down. I'll use some other cards to do that. So here's just a little vellum heart that I embossed with a stamp, an Allie Edwards stamp. I embossed it with gold embossing powder, and then I just add that washi tape underneath. And here's on the other side of the page, this is a yellow card that is just a filler card. So I'm taking this Allie Edwards stamp, both of them, the little banner and the everyday stuff is Allie Edwards stamp, that I had stamped and just had in my stash that I already cut out, so it's easy access to those kinds of things. And the stars are from Studio Calico, or from a Studio Calico Project Life kit, and they're just kind of like sequins in there. I got that wood grain. And I'm going to play with this banner a little bit till I get it where it wants to go. That American Crafts tape that I'm using, that little tape runner, that little pink tape runner, that has some really, really sticky tape in it. And actually my other one that I normally use ran out, and I'm able to reposition a lot easier even though it's permanent. That American Craft stuff really sticks, and once you put it down, it's pretty much down. So here I'm just going to glue those sequin stars down, and then I'm going to trim off the banner, and then that card's pretty much done there. I'll show you a quick close-up. And then next here is like the picture that I was talking about where it has the journaling on the bottom with the date and then the picture. I just really like how this works, and this has really helped a lot keep my Project Life up to date. And I'm just taking this Lucky Us die cut that I got in a Scraptastic kit and just adding it on, and then on top of the bottom piece of that die cut I'm going to add on some of that washi tape that I was using earlier. So I'm just cutting it up, and I'm going to trim it all down so that the cut together just fits there in that white space. And it's going to be relatively straight. Maybe it's not as straight as it could have been, but hand cutting, that's what you get. And there you go, Lucky Us together. You can see how those kind of stick up a little bit. Next, I'm going to move on to another card that has my daughter on the one side and then the word sun in a little sun die cut. That was another die cut that I got in one of the Scraptastic kits that I didn't get to use on the layout from that kit. And I'm just going to take my Heidi Swap mustard color shine and spray that so that it stands out a little bit more on that blue and white kind of card. So I'm going to spray that down and get a nice even coat, and then use my heat tool to dry that up. And it goes pretty quick because it's a pretty thin piece of paper. It's a cardstock, but it's pretty thin. And then I'm just going to take that and glue that down. And some of my adhesive shows through the word sun, so I'm just going to take that little pokey tool and get some of that adhesive away so you don't see it through the die cut. And there you go. I probably could have backed it with some white. That might have made it look a little bit better, but I think it works. And then you can see the shininess of it. And next I'm going to do this one really simply like I have been and just use this Love This stamp. I believe that's a Studio Calico stamp, I think. It was another one of those scraps that I had in my stash that I've had done for a while. Here I'm coming back to that card with my daughter, and I'm using this washi tape again to get the blue across the different pages of the layout. So it's not just on the left hand side, but it's on the right. And I'm going to trim it down so I have just a thin strip. And then I'm going to add that right under that picture so the number 4 just kind of has a base to lay on. And I'm going to play with the strip a lot before I can get it exactly where I want it. So I'm going to take it off and put it on, and take it off and put it on, but finally I'll figure out where it goes. And that 4 is from Teresa Collins, a Teresa Collins die cut pack that I got in a Scraptastic kit, and I thought it was perfect because it was the 4th of July, and I have trouble using these little numbers, so that was a perfect opportunity to use that. So here I'm trying to decide what card I'm going to use to kind of point towards the little baby, and so I decided on this Life is Beautiful because that just seems to be perfect for a baby, and I'm using a little arrow, like a acetate arrow, and just stapled that down, and then I'm going to use that Amy Tangerine stencil again to do some stitching. And you're going to see me start the stitching, and then I'm going to fast forward so you don't have to watch me sit there and do that. And there's going to be a couple more things left, but before the end, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for joining us at the Crafty Maven Getaway. Stay tuned tomorrow. There will be more videos up in the rest of the week, so every day you have a new video. And if you would like, you can check out my channel. It is Froggie251, and the link to my channel will be below. And if you have any questions, please post them below. And if you have any comments, I'd love to hear from you guys. And thank you guys so much for joining us. And I'm going to pretty much end this layout with this last little flare button, and I'm adding this little punched butterfly, and then I'm going to actually stick that flare button to the pocket on the outside of the album because the little pockets are pretty tight, and it seems to work a little better when I do that on the outside. So here are some close-ups of the 2 pages, and then you're going to see some close-ups of the individual cards. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.